Hi everyone, this is Dawn. So, good morning from where I am in the beautiful mountains of Southwest Virginia at the moment. Leaving today actually. Yeah, I had the strongest impulse actually the last couple of days. This is Annie, to come on and make a video. And, I have really no idea here what this is going to be about. Feels very transmission like. I will just preface this by saying that it's been quite a while, I think, and I have made roughly 3 to 4 videos that I have chosen not to share. One was just simply way too long, like 2 hours. And the others have been more about timing. So we're in a very delicate phase right now. I'm struck actually by the light right now. I don't know what's going on there. I guess it's are those trees. I don't have. Let me put my glasses on and see. I believe those are trees in the background. Yes, they are. So I'm struck by the 2 trees and the light in general this morning. And that feels very significant. It feels very much like the time that we are in is very much transitional. There's a bit of haze and uncertainty about, all sorts of things. And depending upon your awareness, your level of consciousness, if you want to call it that, and your connection to yourself, and whether you are operating, from the wholeness of who you are, the fullness of who you are in your heart, or whether you are still, trying to navigate life as we were never intended to navigate life, that all of that will factor into the degree of clarity and haziness in certain situations, but also just in general, this is a time of transition. I feel like I've been saying that like forever since I started making videos, but now we are certainly into this. And I do believe there's a quickening and a coalescing of, more, just a greater number of souls on board with this transition in general. So that is beautiful. At the same time, that quickening also means that there will be more, I call them mini cataclysms of all, kinds, both the natural and the unnatural forced, both the more cosmic and those that are very practical, mundane in our day-to-day life, such as those events that are caused by all the towers crashing, all of the systems failing. And so there's a lot of navigating that must occur in times that are somewhat fluid and changing. And so that's where we find ourselves. So I'm going to go back to a couple of the videos that I chose not to share. The reason that I didn't share them was about timing, and I'm so grateful now that one of them in particular that I felt like was super important, and I was really torn. I was really torn because typically when I don't share something, I pay attention and I trust, and I just know that there's a reason. Someone else has got it. It's all good. And, sure enough, that likely, or that nearly most always is the case. And I'm so grateful because it took me, I think it was around 2018 or 19, somewhere around there, where I had just a mini crash in a few months during that time. And I had been going, pretty strong for a while before then, and it was unexpected, and I felt like my tendency has been to carry the world on my shoulders, because I wasn't aware for so long. I really felt like I didn't have people in my life that were, also sharing these kinds of things, and so I would tend to feel like, just a little panicky. Like I've always been super clear since I was a very, very small child of why I am here, in terms of the energetic portion of that. Not specifically, obviously, I struggle with that a lot, but just in the energetic and the connection to spirit and to, I would even say, the galactic and cosmic unfolding that is happening now. Not that I have a lot of knowledge about that, I actually don't, but I do have that connection, and that is what is true to who I am. And so fast forward to, I had a very significant thing happen about 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. I was traveling somewhere when I was guided very specifically to go to a specific location. It was stunningly beautiful. There were fires, and yet it was still stunningly beautiful. And when I got there, it was a beautiful, heightened experience, as it often is in nature. But I mean, pretty much always, it's just me. And I hiked a little bit, and then I rounded the corner to the spectacular view. And the moment I did, a soul came through. This is a individual who I have crossed paths with in this life, and have a deep love and connection to, and it was clear that this individual was speaking to me from another realm and another, the other side, if you will. And I was a bit shocked by that, and the implications of that were disturbing to me somewhat. And I saw a few things, but I knew that there was a deeper message beyond just the obvious information there. So I had to sit with it for a few days, and I recorded 2 videos. The first was, just the, whoa, you guys, here's what's happened. I didn't divulge personal details, but I did specifically address what that individual was communicating to the best of my ability, which seemed to be something of great importance to the collective. So the part of that I'm going to share with you now is just the quick factual information that relates to that, because I ultimately chose not to share the specifics in terms of in terms of some of the other messages, because it felt like there was something in process. Okay, so the information that resonated very much with me, and I feel like, I don't know if these individuals will watch this video, but I know from paying attention that I've heard at least 3 different people reference this time period, 2 publicly and 1 offline. And so I know that I trust this information. So what came through was that last year, and I'll just, personally, what happened for me last year is I lost my longtime partner, Tim, who was my best friend. We were married and divorced twice, have a very storied human journey. And yes, he passed away unexpectedly December 5th of last year, but sort of a turn of events kind of happened beginning late November. And I was also in the midst of my own process during that time period. And so the information that came through from this individual, apparently on the other side or their higher self or whatever, was that was not isolated, that I was correct in the fact that I had paid attention to these other individuals who I really resonate with them and their work to some degree. And all of us experienced something quite dramatic that felt to me, this is my assessment, not these individuals, I've had no discussion with them about this. It felt to me at the time for myself, and when I was listening to various other people share it, that was a confirmation, like a coordinated attack, if you will. I don't like to use those terms, but a very intensified well planned, targeted to specific individuals and groups, unleashing of something that is, again, you don't like to use the word evil, but certainly there is that, and it felt very, very much that. And so the way that this played out, so this individual on the other side, it all came through super fast, as as things do occasionally for me, and I was totally not expecting that. This was like a day in nature. I'm totally connected. I'm hiking and beautiful views. I'm got my camera. I'm happy. I'm just, like I do. I just was talking to strangers and enjoying the beauty, and it was jarring. It was jarring because of who it was jarring because of where it was jarring because of the information, and it was jarring because of the quick potency and urgency of the message. So this all happened. There were specific dates I was given, but I'm choosing in this video to simply say that it was between the period, there was a ramp up to it, but it was between the period of November the 17th, 18th, 19th, height and time then, a little bit of a lull, and then a engagement of that attack, basically to take out what hadn't been taken out. And that occurred very late November into early December. And I was shown some things about this energy, and it is an energy that gathers its momentum from the participation of humans and perhaps other forces in the, I never know the words. I need somebody sitting beside me who knows all those words, right? Like I watch videos, but I can't ever remember them. Like it's not just the universe. It's like bigger than that. But in any case, there were levels of an attempt to anchor this, at the same time to completely eradicate and eliminate some of those who speak in a specific way or live their lives in a specific way that is very aware of the more cosmic layers of what is happening. So obviously for me, I don't have the language for that. I just feel it. I just see it, not see it with my eyes, but I never know how to say this, but I just sense it. I feel into the energy, so it is a sensation, but it's also like a knowing that gets unlocked within me in the right time. It's like somehow there were, just planted. It's 13:13 right now, and on my clock here. That is significant because. So let me finish that thought. I hope I'll come back to that 13:13. But so all of this that came through about this coordinated attack and how it did take some bright lights out. Now there's always support if our hearts ask for that, for the higher purpose and the higher good and the healing of humanity through the most egregious of actions and the most trying of times. And that is happening. And I'm really grateful because the second video I made was not in addition to sharing, sort of like the what happened to include those dates, but I went into the detail in the first video that I didn't share. The second video I didn't share was sort of my own feeling. It was me, Dawn, human, saying we have got to get this right. It was going to be a call out to all of these people who are still here, like myself, who went through this to some degree or the other, whether you were the one that was on the receiving end or whether you were witnessing it with someone around you or whether you were participating in it willingly or perhaps unknowingly because of, some negative negative energy that was acting through you because you were in a weakened state, something like that. I think I was shown a bunch of different, like actually, 10 different scenarios of how this played out. And it's a lot more people than I'm aware of. So that I'm just only aware of like, 3 or 4 for sure in terms of, people who are traditionally called light workers. I truly believe we all are that. We just haven't gotten there yet in terms of the connection sometimes, but in any case, it was a coordinated attempt to take out those who in some ways are very strongly connected and who had a much a particular flavor of more cosmic awareness. They didn't all speak about it, but they were anchors for that. And so I was, in that second video, I was feeling just a real urgency, like, we got to get this right. This is like, whoa, so much is on the line here. And this all is connected again to the co-opting of the true nature of the creation principle, the feminine principle of the nature of life itself, and a co-opting and a coordinated attack of the sacred masculine energy, again within each one of us, and as it unfolds between us. And so what happened, again, this is one period I'm shown. This could have happened, it probably has happened forever throughout time, but this was a very, very, very potent. And again, I knew at the time, whoa, what is this? Like, I've experienced a lot of strange things in my life. And I've been aware of a lot of times when, in my own experience walking through life or witnessing other situations, and in my case, particularly with groups of people, where I've seen it come in like this sort of like unnatural energetic that then it's like it just consumes people more and more and more, and then the whole system is wobbly, and so that's how I've witnessed it primarily. But I knew when this was happening, like, whoa, this is out of left field. And maybe some people had an awareness that it was coming. I did not, for sure. And so then when I received this message from the person on the other side, and I began to realize that this was connected to what we have all, and by this I'm speaking much more broadly here, been doing here in the last 10, 20, 30 years, however, and it's probably longer than that. That's the general time frame for me, in full awareness, 10 to 15 for me, and before that, like in soul awareness. And it was very clear to me that those of us who experienced this or witnessed it firsthand and are still here, or can speak to it from that higher awareness and are connected to the wisdom stream that would allow us to, again, not only talk or articulate it verbally, but to self-correct and to be a part of steering, like it's almost like shielding and opening up at the same time. So shielding from this a little more carefully than in the past, and raising the base level to cup and hold the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine as one. And this is not, I'm not speaking here, I just want to be clear, I'm not speaking here about any outcome or any kind of, union in terms of two souls, although I believe that will be supported by this action. But it was very clear to me, starting about, for sure when this happened a month or two ago, But even before then, I had realized, not specifics. Actually, I didn't have the information about the specific dates or anything, but I had realized what was occurring, and some of the those who were still here, it's almost like, the head was spinning, and the heart was still connected, but something was off kilter. And so there was a need for us to really go deep into the core of the most pure, the most sacred place of union within us, where we love all of those hurting pieces of that, beautiful, soft feminine and the fierce feminine, the strong leader masculine and the one that never gets any acknowledgement here, the beautiful, pure, connected heart of the lion masculine. And so, like, within the feminine and the masculine, there were these there are within that, the quote polar opposites, and then all of the other aspects and all of the things that have occurred through, to us individually and collectively. I am talking about the collective here as well. So there was this awareness of needing to hold it all. And so it was really tricky, because in that second video that I recorded, I was guided to be kind of quite specific about that, in terms of actions that we in this community, of those who, are engaged in some form of sharing around these concepts, and or spiritual teaching or that sort of thing, and then more broadly in society. So the other thing that I spoke to in that second video that I didn't share, and what I want to say now, is that this is all actually connected to what's unfolding at the societal and global levels right now, some of which is obvious, example, I'm in the United States, our election, and all these storms and other human tragedies. And then, of course, Middle East, Ukraine, Russia. Yeah, you guys get it. All the things that are born from the nature of division, conflict, and this false false artifice that has been placed upon the earth, which is about the whole idea of, this or that, right and wrong, all of that polarity and division. Not to say, by the way, I just want to be clear here, I'm in favor of a world where there can be, as I think I've said it before, 365 different views, and we all learn to be in such a place of honoring of ourselves and others that we can hold our own point of view from that single place within us, in our hearts, and we can honor others' choice to choose. And so all of this is to say that I had this heightened awareness of how this coordinated attack thing that happened last year, the unhealed aspects of it for those of us who were either witness to that, lived through it ourselves, or were aware of it even. The need for just a gentleness and a healing. And I myself was navigating that in my own way. I was aware of a couple of other situations, individuals and groups, actually more than a couple, I'd say. In this case, like if you expand it out, probably 10, 11, 20, 10, 11, 20, 10 to 20 is what I meant to say. situations, both individual and group and collectively. And so I kind of went within and, what do I need to do? And I was guided to do something very specific in terms of healing that hurt place within me for just the specifics of what had occurred in my own situation, and the broader rippled out result of that damage, again in my own case, and then in a couple of situations, specifically collective, one giant collective, and then one more group kind of situation. It was brought to my awareness, and so I did some healing around that. And just in the last couple of weeks, Spirit has led me to some things that make it clear that that is happening with other individuals and at least one group kind of situation where this sort of thing occurred. I don't know if I haven't had any contact with those individuals or groups, but I don't know if they are coming at that with the same level of awareness that I have, or if it's a different, and the point is this. The point is, whether you experienced this directly, whether you witnessed it, or whether you were completely unaware of it, what I want to put the call out to all of us for in this video is that we just have some intentionality around this passage between now and the end of the year. There's always an adjustment. I mean, it is spiritual warfare. As much as I do not like that idea, it has been my experience in this reality from the get-go. And again, as much as I would prefer to, be the free nature spirit who believes in fairies, and I do, and just focus on sharing my own gifts and being connected in the moment and rising into the realm of radiance, which we are doing. That's the whole point. This is also vital, that we each do our own, sort of healing around that. The same things that we've been doing in terms of honoring the masculine and feminine, but with a little more awareness that those who do not want us to, not just those individuals, groups, energies, who are fighting tooth and nail to hang on to their parasitic way of being and addictive patterns, etc., and that plays out within humans, of course, but in groups, but also at this higher energetic level. And that is there, it's not like, oh, I surrender and it's just going to all be, I do think there's divine intervention that's coming. My point is that we must do the work. And that requires us to remain aware and connected, and to support one another by holding all of this, by not pointing fingers, by not casting blame, by not diving down into the land of accusation and all of those things that will only splinter us further from ourselves and from one another. Grace is a word that rises for me to the surface here. I don't think it's any accident that about, I think it's just a week or two ago, it's crazy the things that have happened, but I've been doing some ancestral research on my dad's side. I've always been, fascinated by his side of the family. There's a lot of stories I could tell you here. I'm just going to cut to the chase, though. Don't want to bore you. I've never really been interested in my mom's side, other than just, my grandparents, great grandparents. It was always my dad's side, and through this very bizarre set of circumstances where I found out someone I've known for hello. All right, nope. Come back, screen. We're going to get you back. There we go. I don't know if that just blacked out for you, but it did on my end. And I know why. No, I'm still here, and I'm standing in the light. And so I found out just quite by accident this weird string of events that basically somebody I've known for a long time, I was like, oh my gosh, I think we're related. And boom, yes, we are on multiple lines. And then, so that was on my mom's side. And I was like, oh, this is interesting, because the one gift of AI is you can get things a lot quicker on to find out about your ancestry and stuff. And it's a little easier to connect those dots. And also a lot of people have done that research. And so for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is interesting. Look how far back we are in my mom's side. Oh, okay, cool. And then I got back and I was like, whoa, wait, what? I am my ninth great grandmother was actually, this has actually been on TV, because Claire Danes on Finding Your Roots is also, this was her ninth great grandmother, and I'm told also Sarah Jessica Parker maybe, but in any case, I didn't know any of this at the time. I was like, oh my gosh. I clicked on this lady because her name just was like, it sent shivers through me. And her name was Margaret Stevenson Scott, and she was one of the last 5 to 7 women accused of being a witch in the Salem witch trials, and she was hung. Now, immediately when I saw that, I felt and connected some dots for myself regarding a trip that when we took our son to Boston pre-college, and we were there in Salem. And so her story is compelling, and I'm still processing it. And then, as if to put an exclamation point on that little event, I took a trip. I'm like, 6 states away, and sit down for dinner the first night I'm here, and the person sitting across from me was named after that same individual. I mean, like, what are the chances? It just was. And then there was another thing that happened that was to bring my attention to this awareness of the degree of, number one, the ancestral lineage and what we all carry, whether we know it or not, from those events of when we were the one accused, when we were the accuser, when we were the one being persecuted, when we were the one persecuting, when we were the one being tortured, when we were the one doing the torture. And this is the cycle of human suffering. And so my awareness has been brought to this multiple times in multiple ways in the last week or two. And this, I think, is again connected to this message that came with the help of one who has a great heart for humanity, and no matter where that individual is. And so what I think I'm wanting to say is that, yes, things happen, lives are lost through, the arc of time. Suffering is forced upon individuals and groups. People are silenced. Groups are labeled. Energies are stolen and used for ill. And this connects also, just briefly, I'm going to mention that we're coming full circle, right? I don't know what year it was when I had enough, and I just made that I made a video. I don't even think it's on YouTube anymore. I don't know, but it was like the gig is up, like done, over, no more. I will go down with the ship. No more, no more abusing children and innocent souls. Done. I'm like, no, I will draw that. And so I made that video, did some practice. I did a couple of, calling us to prayer. And I never know if there's really anyone else that saw that. It doesn't really matter because my heart was in it. And this is also a delicate time because of, obviously, I don't have to name the names for you, like everybody, it's everywhere. And I do have full confidence that it, in in the largest sense, all will be known for what it is and exposed, if not publicly. I believe our hearts, once each of us make that choice to live from the whole of who we are and to be aligned and connected to that higher harmonic of life. I believe that we will know what we know. We will feel, and we will be able to offer healing and grace and love and compassion, both to the ones who were victimized by such heinous behavior. And that does not only mean those who were children and youth, but also those who observed such behaviors and were terrified, usually and often because of what lives in the DNA and the ancestral and the memories and the remembrances. And also, I would say those who have become participatory in those sorts of things. Sometimes it's like a weakening, and then there you got them. And sometimes it's more intentional. They choose that because maybe they have in other times been the recipient of that. And I think this happens with all of us to one degree or another. And that's the opportunity here, is to be aware of that and to meet ourselves with forgiveness and compassion, and to observe where this has happened in other situations and not feel the need to rush to judgment and blame and pointing fingers and accusation, but rather take a breath. Send love to the entire situation. Send love to whatever it is within me that sees that and is so hurt by it, from whatever perspective, because each of us can see what we, like a scenario or an event or a story of what happened, whether it's like super public, like in some of what's being exposed, or whether it's more, personal or a group to which we are connected, and we can have our own reaction. And often that is rooted in where it touches what is most vulnerable within us. And so ultimately what I'm saying here is, if we stay with loving what is vulnerable, and if we stay with honoring the fullness of the journey to include the parts we would rather not touch with a 10-foot pole, our own behaviors and the behaviors of others around us, and the scenarios and the ways that darkness, evil, nefarious energies find their way in at times. I do honestly believe that now, as the veil is thin this time of year, and as more of us are committed to this path of wholeness and integration, of new ways of seeing things, new ways of being, new ways of freeing ourselves, and we live and breathe that there is an opportunity for all to be lifted up, meaning all, right? Not just those who've been on the good train for a long time, all. This is something that I was very adamant about when I said, okay, I will speak, because I didn't want to do any of this. And I often, in my humanness, like look at it and go, see, nobody listens. Like, why am I doing this? Like, it takes a lot of energy, and also a lot of things fail or don't work. And I have a hard time keeping on. And yet, what I know for certain is that all is being lifted up. And if we allow ourselves to be lifted up, and I don't mean, like that sounds so that perhaps that language is old, so and has religious overtones. So let me change the wording. If we allow ourselves to rise up from within and love all that is in wholeness, not a detachment from the body and just like float up into like whatever. No, a grounded and rooted rising. I like that, a rooted rising. I think I'm going to start saying that, a rooted rising. If we allow that and we reorient ourselves to our inner light and life and love, and to the grace that is life itself, and to the creation and recreation, and that beautiful cycle of unfolding awareness, and the seasons that come and go, and all of the stories through time of from all aspects, right? The global story, the ancestral story, our spiritual lineage, the cosmic and galactic, the earth, the fairies, the elemental kingdom, all of it. If we just allow ourselves to know whatever we do know of that, and to be connected to that, and to receive and to honor what has felt so broken within us, and what has felt fragmented, and what has felt like I didn't make it because at this point in my journey something happened, and I don't know what happened, but it happened, and then boom, this. And I'm sure we can all relate to that to some degree. It may be way back in your past, it may be yesterday, it may be something that you struggle with every day, but love it. Don't identify with it, but bring your compassion to the you that has experienced it. Bring your love and forgiveness to the you that doesn't know what happened or why it happened, whether it was to you or to an individual around you, or to the larger society and humanity itself. It's really a passage, and it's a time of transition in which if we can all do that, we're going to be okay. So I'm going to leave it there. When I look up here from the video, I often do that when I'm thinking, if you haven't noticed, I keep being drawn to this. There's a cabinet over here with one of those old-fashioned keys in the lock, the kind that you have to like do this do this with. I don't know if you guys saw that. I just did one of those symbols things, but there's an old-fashioned key in the hole there that you have to like wiggle a little bit to get it to just turn. That's where we are. That is what this is about. And it's going to take a great deal of courage for us to navigate this transition, I would say all the way through 2027. So a few years left, but yeah, right now, between now, I'm recording this on October 15th and the end of the year, dwell on all that is good, and bring your love and focus to what hurts in you, what you witness in the other, and what is unfolding all around you. Such love for anyone who has watched even a portion of this video. I hope that something has connected for you, and I will I will see you when I see you. Take good care.